A Werewolf Shifter Romance Audiobook, written by Trisha. Chapter 1. Pain. That's all she knew. It was her first thought when the weak gray light of dawn touched the servants' quarters, and it was her last thought when she finally fell into a shaky sleep. Her body moved on instinct, curling into a tight ball on the thin, scratchy mattress. The pain wasn't from a wound, not one you could see. It was a headache. No, a migraine wasn't the right word. It was a power ache, a constant pulsing throb behind her eyes. It was the feeling of a river, a raging, massive river being forced through a tiny straw. This was the price of hiding. Kelina. 20 years old and a liar. Deep down, she knew the truth. She wasn't the weak, clumsy, submissive Omega everyone in the Blood Moon pack saw. She wasn't the girl who dropped plates in the kitchen, who kept her eyes on the cold stone floor, who never, ever spoke up. She was an alpha, a true alpha. And she had to be small, quiet, and nothing. She had to, because survival in this pack, after her parents were gone, depended on it. To be a female alpha was unheard of, a threat, a prize, a target. So she pushed it down. She choked her own power, strangling her wolf until it was just a sick, angry knot in her stomach. And the effort? Oh, the effort was killing her. It made her weak and shaky sick, which, in a twisted way, made her lie easier to believe. Without warning, a loud, clanging bell rang from the hall. Breakfast. The claiming ceremony was tonight. Her breath caught. The ceremony. Her thoughts spun a massive gathering, all the nearby packs, alphas, so many alphas, all of them projecting their power and their dominance. Their scents would be thick in the air, a choking fog of authority. She wouldn't be able to hide. Not in that. The pressure of their combined power would be too much. It would shatter her weak shields like glass. It would force her own alpha power to the surface. They would see her. They would scent her. What would happen then? Would her own alpha, a cruel man named Marcus, kill her for the challenge she never wanted to be? Or would a visiting alpha drag her away as a prize, a broodmare for a new, powerful line? She didn't know what scared her more. As the silence stretched, broken only by the distant bell, she knew one thing. She couldn't be here for it. Her world tilted. She had a plan, a stupid, desperate, half-baked plan. A small bag with stale bread and a water skin was hidden under a loose floorboard. She'd seen a gap in the south fence, the one near the old dead oak. She had to run, because it was her only chance. She swung her legs over the bed, her feet hitting the freezing floor. The ache behind her eyes flared, sharp and angry, as if it knew. "No," she whispered. Her voice was a dry rasp, the first time she'd used it all day. "Not tonight. You won't win." She was running. Tonight, before the moon was high, before the alphas gathered, before her entire hidden world came crashing down. She just had to survive until then. Chapter 2. That night, the pack hall was chaotic. The energy was electric, charged with a mix of excitement, dread, and raw, primal power. Kelina could feel it. With every heartbeat, it felt like a hammer blow against her skull. The scents of visiting packs were already rolling in pine and frost from the north, smoke and rock from the west. She kept her head down, a small gray mouse slipping through the halls. She was supposed to be serving, helping with the feast. Instead, she was stealing. She clutched a half loaf of bread to her chest, her knuckles white. She'd already grabbed her hidden bag. This was it. Before she could move, a voice cut through the noise. Sharp, cruel. "Well, well. Look what the cat dragged in." Kelina froze. Her chest ached. Lyra, a tall, blonde beta who lived to make Kelina's life hell. She stood in the doorway of the kitchen, arms crossed, a mean, pretty smirk on her face. "Stealing, Kelina?" Lyra's voice was a purr. "Alpha Marcus won't like that. He hates thieves." Her voice trembled. "I was just getting it for the table, liar," Lyra sneered, and she loved to sneer, because she sensed weakness like a shark scents blood. She stepped closer. You're pathetic. You know I almost feel sorry for you. Tonight, everyone finds a mate or at least has some fun. The space between them burned. Lyra shoved Kelina's shoulder. Hard. But you? Lyra laughed. You'll just be plain useless, Kelina. No one wants damaged goods. No one wants you. The shove sent Kelina stumbling back. The bread fell, and something inside her shifted. The pain behind her eyes didn't just throb, it focused. As her wolf stirred, a sound vibrated in her chest, a low, deep growl. It wasn't her. It couldn't be. It was too strong, too alpha. Lyra's eyes went wide. The smirk vanished. Fear. Kelina scented fear. What was that? Lyra whispered, taking a step back. Kelina snapped. She grabbed the bread from the floor, her hands shaking. She jammed her power back down until the pain made her eyes water. Nothing, she choked out, her voice small and mousy again. I have to go. She pushed past Lyra, who was too stunned to stop her. But then, Lyra's voice followed her, shaky but regaining its bite. You're lucky the Alpha King is here tonight. Everyone's distracted, or I'd tell Marcus you just growled at me. Kelina stopped, cold. The air thickened. The king? She whispered, turning slowly. Yes, stupid, Lyra snapped, trying to get her power back. The Alpha King. Kyle. He's here. I saw his guards. They say he's hunting a rogue alpha or something. Her thoughts spun. The Alpha King. The ruler of all packs. Here. Tonight. What's worse, an Alpha King's power would be unimaginable. A sun, and she was just a tiny, flickering candle trying to hide. He would know. The second he arrived, he would know what she was. And just like that, everything changed. Her plan to run before the ceremony wasn't good enough. She had to run. Now. Without another word, she bolted, leaving Lyra standing alone in the kitchen doorway. She didn't run towards the hall. She ran towards the back door, towards the fence, towards the dark, quiet woods. She was running from her pack. She was running from the ceremony. She didn't know she was running right to him. Chapter 3. She ran. As if the forest watched, the wind ripped through the trees. It tore at her thin servant's dress, a dress that offered no warmth and no protection. But then, she didn't care. Cold was better than him. The Alpha King. With every heartbeat, the name echoed in her mind. Kyle. 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 Her thoughts spun. What kind of king hunts a rogue during a claiming ceremony? Wasn't this a sacred night? Deep down, she knew the truth. A king hunted when he wanted. A king took what he wanted. Because of that, her feet flew faster. Twig's sharp anger tore at her bare ankles. She didn't feel them. A low-hanging branch whipped her cheek, and she tasted blood metallic and hot. She welcomed it. This kind of pain was simple. It wasn't the other pain. The power ache. Maybe it was fate, or maybe just her desperation, but the suppression of her alpha self was harder while running. Her instincts were screaming a frantic howl in her head. Run faster, shift, fight, no! She panted, her voice a cloud of white in the cold air. No shift. Never. Because shifting was the one thing she'd never let herself do. She didn't even know what her wolf looked like. She'd held it prisoner her whole life, a starved, angry thing in a cage, and because of that, she didn't know how to control it. What's worse, she could feel the ceremony starting back at the hall. As if pulled by a string, her senses felt a thrum, a vibration, a gathering of alpha power. She didn't know what scared her more, the ceremony starting or the sudden, absolute silence of the woods. The crickets stopped. The wind died. Moments later, she finally stumbled into a small clearing. The dead oak, the south fence. She saw it. A gap in the rotted wood just like she'd remembered. Her breath caught. Freedom. It was right there. She was sobbing messy, ugly sounds of relief. She put a hand on the rough, splintered wood of the fence. Without warning, a scent hit her. It wasn't pine. It wasn't mud. It wasn't her. It was ozone. Like the air right before a lightning strike. And sandalwood. Deep, rich and powerful, so powerful it made her stomach clench. Her world tilted. As the silence stretched, a shadow detached itself from a tree not 10 feet away. It wasn't a shadow. It was a man. He was huge, not just tall, but a broad wall of muscle and presence. He wore dark, practical leathers, nothing like the ceremonial robes back at the hall. And his eyes beneath the moonlight were gold. But they weren't the warm gold of a mate. They were the cold, hard gold of a predator, of a judge, of a king. Her voice trembled. No, he didn't move. He just watched. The tension broke when he finally spoke. His voice wasn't a shout. It was a low, rumbling growl, a sound that seemed to shake the trees themselves. Running Alpha? Chapter 4. Her name hung in the air. Wait, no. He hadn't said her name. He'd said Alpha. Her heart skipped. I don't know what you mean. She tried. Oh. She tried to make her voice small, the voice she always used. The Omega voice. He took a step. With every step he took, the ground seemed to tremble. The scent of ozone and sandalwood was choking. Don't, he commanded. The word was low, dangerous. Don't lie. At that moment, she saw him. I really saw him. This was Kyle, the Alpha King. He wasn't just a king, he was a warrior. A scar, thin and white, cut through his left eyebrow. His face was hard-carved from stone, and his eyes were filled with pain. No fury. A cold, righteous fury. You've led me on a long chase, rogue, he snarled. Her thoughts spun. Rogue? Him? The man Lyra said, I'm not Kelina. Her voice was a squeak. From the Blood Moon Pack. I'm a servant, he repeated. His voice was flat, disbelieving. He took another step. He was too close now. So close. She could feel the heat rolling off him like a furnace. A servant who smells like a true alpha. As the truth unraveled, she realized he wasn't hunting a rogue. He was hunting her. Or he thought he was. No, she cried, stumbling back. You're wrong. I'm weak. I'm an Omega. She was begging, because her life depended on this lie. On the other hand, Kyle's patience was gone. He had a duty. This thing in front of him, this female, was the one who had killed his sister. He knew it. The scent trace from the attack was her. This power is disguised. What kind of monster hides their power just to what? Get close? The games are over, he growled, and he lunged. It wasn't a tackle. It was just presence. He moved, and he was there. His hand clamped around her upper arm. As fire bloomed beneath her skin, something snapped. It was the pain, the power ache, and it was his power. His alpha power pressing down on her, demanding submission. Her wolf, the one she'd kept chained, hated it. A growl rose in her throat. Without thinking, her body moved on instinct. She didn't just growl. She roared. A wave of her own alpha power, raw, untapped, terrified, exploded from her. It wasn't an attack. It was a shield, a getaway. It slammed into Kyle. He didn't just stop. He skidded. He was forced back 2 full steps. His golden eyes went wide. Not with fear, not with surprise, with confirmation. As the silence roared, Kelina stood panting her own power, shocking her, terrifying her. Kyle slowly straightened up. He looked at his hand, the one that had held her as if it was burned. When her name left his lips, it was a death sentence. Except he didn't know her name. The Rogue of the Red River, he whispered. His voice was broken. No, it was filled with a terrible cold grief. The one who killed my beta. I don't know what that is. Kelina sobbed, the power vanishing, leaving her weak and weak. You'll have plenty of time to remember, Kyle said. His voice was dead. Before she could move, he was on her again. This time he was not gentle. His hand grabbed her, not her arm, her throat. He didn't squeeze. He just held, lifting her, dragging her. You are coming with me, he stated. It wasn't a request. Where? She choked out the world going dark at the edges. Under the weight of his stare, he gave her the answer. To the king's citadel, to the silver towers. As if the world narrowed, she knew that name. The silver towers, the king's prison, the place no one ever came back from. And just like that, everything changed. Her old life was over. Her new nightmare had just begun. Chapter 5. He didn't just walk. He dragged her. Her bare feet scraped over roots and stones and mud. He was a storm, a walking, breathing, furious storm, and she was just a leaf caught in his wind. He didn't speak. Not one word. As the silence roared, she heard it. Music, laughter, the party. Oh gods, no. Before she could move, he pulled her hard right out of the trees and into the bright, flickering light of the claiming ceremony. And just like that, everything changed. The music stopped. A violin died in a long, ugly squeak. In the span of a breath, hundreds of eyes, alpha eyes, beta eyes, omega eyes, they all turned. They all stared. Her thoughts spun. This was worse than death. This was humiliation. Deep down, she knew the truth. They all saw her. Kelina. Nothing. The clumsy, weak servant girl being dragged by the Alpha King himself. They weren't whispering Alpha. No. She heard the real whispers. A thief? Why does he have her? She disgraced us. Rogue! Her breath caught. That last word was spit like a curse. Kyle didn't slow. Under the weight of his stare, everyone, even the Alphas, moved. They parted like the sea because he was the walking, breathing law. His face was stone. His golden eyes saw nothing, no one except the path ahead. He was the king. This was his justice. Moments later, he had her through the crowd. His guards, huge cloaked in black, fell in step behind them. A dark, silent procession. They marched up to the citadel. It wasn't a castle. It was a fortress. Black stone so tall it scraped the dark belly of the clouds. It was a warning, a promise of power. And he didn't take her to the dungeons down in the dark where she knew she belonged. He took her up a winding, endless staircase, to a single gleaming white tower, a tower that stood alone, separate from the rest of the fortress, the silver tower. The moment they got close, she smelled it. It wasn't just the cold air. It wasn't just his scent of sandalwood and lightning. With his scent in the air, another smell hit her. Cold, sharp, burning, silver. Her bones ached. Her wolf pressed forward and then screamed. I hated this. A beat later, a guard with his face hidden by a silver helmet opened a heavy door. Kyle shoved her. She stumbled, falling onto a floor that was not stone, and it wasn't a cell. As the echo faded, she looked up. It was a bedroom. Chapter 6. In the quiet that followed, she just shook. The room was huge, bigger than the entire servants' quarters. A bed piled high with soft white furs. A fireplace carved from black marble, though it was cold empty. A balcony with a view of the dark, dark forest. But then she saw it. As if fate demanded it, she crawled on her hands and knees to the wall. The walls shimmered. A beautiful, silky pattern. She reached out her fingers, trembling, and she touched it. Cold. Ice cold. It wasn't wallpaper. It was metal, woven into the stone. Silver. Her breath caught. She looked really good. The bars on the balcony are not iron. Silver. The legs on the bed are silver. The air tasted like ash. Like silver. The air thickened. The power ache of the river behind her eyes stopped. It didn't just stop. It died. Her wolf whimpered. A high, thin, sad sound. The silver wasn't just silver. It was infused everywhere. It suppressed her. It drained her. It made her weak. It made her an omega. She didn't know what scared her more of Kyle or this room, because this room was killing the only part of her that was real. The silence broke. The heavy thud of the door opening. Kyle. Her heart skipped. She scrambled back into the corner, a small, pathetic ball. He walked in. He didn't just walk. He prowled. The space between them burned. He wasn't bothered by the silver. Of course not. He wasn't the monster. She was. His voice was so low. Are very good liars. No. Her voice trembled. I'm not, please. You smell weak. He took a step. With every step he took, she cringed. You look pathetic. You act terrified. He was so close now. But I saw what you did. I felt your power. His voice broke. The power that killed my sister. Sister. Not Beta. Sister. No, I didn't kill anyone. She sobbed. I've never left my pack. I'm just Kelina. I'm nothing. Under the weight of his stare, Kyle stopped. He faltered. He sniffed the air. Once, twice. His face, his hard stone face, twisted. It wasn't anger. It was confusing. How? He whispered. It was so quiet. How what? She cried. How he took a step back. Do you smell true? Her breath caught. You're your terror, he said, like the words hurt him. It's real. It's not a lie. I smell it. So his eyes, those gold, broken eyes, they locked on her. You're not a good liar, he whispered. You're two things. You are a coward and you are a killer. No. Who were you with at the Red River? He roared. Who else was there when you ambushed her? Red River? Her thoughts spun. I don't know that place. I don't know who you're talking about. Liar, he roared. And the Alpha King's power slammed into her. It was a physical wave, and she let it. As if the world narrowed, she let the weak, pathetic human part of her take over. She let the silver numbness win, because it was the only thing that wasn't a lie. She just cried. She couldn't fight back. She was broken. In the stillness that followed, Kyle just stared. He stared at the mess on his floor. This weeping, pathetic girl, this wasn't the monster. This wasn't the rogue who had fought 6 of his best guards and won. The tension broke. Without another word, he turned. He stormed out of the room. The lock, a heavy, magical click, echoed in the quiet that followed. Kelina was alone. She felt it clear as day. He was confused. He thought he knew she was a killer. But his own senses, his king's senses, were telling him she wasn't. And that tiny, tiny crack of doubt, it was her only hope. Chapter 7. Come morning, the room was hell. A quiet, cold hell. Time stood still. Kelina hadn't slept. She was too weak. The silver, oh gods, the silver. Her bones remembered it. It wasn't just in the walls. It was in the air. It was a poison and nothingness. Her wolf was gone. She couldn't feel it. Not the ache. Not the anger. Not the power. There was just a hollow, empty space inside her chest. Her soul answered, but no one was there. As if the world narrowed, she realized this was his true torture. He hadn't just caged her. He had emptied her. He had made her exactly what she pretended to be. A weak, useless omega. And she let it happen. Her breath caught. The click. The heavy, magical click of the lock. The door opened. Kyle. Her heart skipped. He looked terrible. His dark hair was a mess. His golden, burning eyes were red. At the edges. He hadn't slept either. Good. He walked in. He didn't just walk. He paced. Like a real wolf. His wolf was right there, on the surface, and he wasn't carrying a weapon. He was carrying a box, a small wooden box. In the stillness that followed, he just stared at her. He was so confused, and his confusion made him furious. I spoke to the Blood Moon Pack, he said. His voice was raspy. Her voice trembled. Then you know, I know, he cut her off fast and sharp. That they all say you are an Omega. I am, she cried. In this room it was true. No, he roared. And he threw the box. It slammed into the wall right next to her head. She screamed. Moments later, the box fell open on the floor, and something tumbled out. It wasn't a thing. It was a piece of cloth. A dark, dark blue cloth, stiff, and crusted with brown blood. Her breath caught. Kyle's voice broke. Was hers. His sister's. It's all I have left, he whispered. His shoulders shook. Once, And do you know what I smell on it? She shook her head. Tears ran down her face. The river mud, he growled. The blood, my sister's blood. He stepped closer. He knelt right in front of her. As if the world narrowed, he was all she could see. And you. Chapter 8. As the echo faded, his words hung in the air. And you. Her thoughts spun. No, she sobbed. No, please, I didn't. But how? He asked. His voice wasn't a roar. It was a plea, a desperate, broken plea. The scent, it's all over it. He believed his nose, because his nose was his truth, so she had to lie. He reached out. His hand is so big, so warm. It trembled. He was going to touch her face. Without warning, a bang. A loud, heavy bang on the tower door. The tension broke. Kyle jumped. He shot to his feet, his face twisted back into the king. The anger was back. What? He roared at the door. A voice shouted from the other side, muffled, panicked. My king! The guard yelled. It's a message from the Red River Patrol. Her world tilted. Red River Kyle froze. His eyes locked on Kelina. He stalked to the door. He unlocked it. He ripped it open. A guard in silver armor stood there, panting. He struck again. The guard panted. The rogue Alpha, at the river bend. When? Kyle's voice was ice. An hour ago, my king. As the silence roared, Kyle didn't move. He just stood there, in the doorway, an hour ago. The Red River Bend was a 2-day ride from the Citadel, and Kelina had been locked in this tower, right here, with him, for 2 days. In the quiet that followed, he slowly turned. He looked at her, and just like that, everything changed. It wasn't her. He knew it wasn't her. He had been wrong. His face crumbled. The anger vanished. The grief stayed. But something else was there. Confusion. Deep, absolute confusion. But the scent, he whispered. To himself. How is the scent the same? His eyes met hers. And for the first time, he wasn't looking at a monster. He was looking at a puzzle. He was looking at a victim. He was looking at her. And she felt it, clear as day. This changed nothing. And it changed everything. Because if she wasn't the killer and she wasn't a liar, then what was she? Chapter 9. As the echo faded, the guard was gone. The door to the tower was shut, and he was still there. Kyle. In the stillness that followed, he just stood there. His whole world was gone. His truth was a lie. He looked at his hands, the hands that dragged her, the hand that held her throat. His sister's killer was still out there, and he had been torturing an innocent girl. His wolf pressed forward. It wanted to howl, not in anger, in shame. He turned, slowly, so slowly. He looked at her. Kelina, still curled in the corner, a small, broken thing, drowned in the silver poison. Her eyes were open, dull, empty, watching him. The space between them burned, with his guilt. His voice trembled. He couldn't say it. A king doesn't say it, but a man does. I tried again. I was wrong. A beat later, her voice came back. So quiet. A whisper of dust. I told you that one sentence broke him. The silver he whispered. He could smell it on her, burning her from the inside out. He did this. He had to fix it. As if pulled by a string, he moved. She flinched, hard. She cringed away from him. She thought he was going to hit her. Her fear was a knife in his gut. No, he choked out. I'm not no. Without thinking, he didn't stop. He reached down, and he touched her. His hands were so big, so callous, they were gentle. So gentle. He slid one hand under her back. He slid the other under her knees. As fire bloomed beneath her skin, she let out a small gasp. It wasn't power. It wasn't painful. It was warm. The first warmth she had felt in 2 days. And just like that, Kyle the Alpha King lifted her. He lifted his prisoner from the floor. He held her against his chest, her head lolled against his shoulder. She was so light, too light. He turned, and he carried her. He carried her out of the silver tower. He wasn't just moving a prisoner. He was saving her. Chapter 10. He didn't take her back to the dungeons. He didn't take her to the healer's bay. He took her to his own chambers. The rooms were huge, warm. The fire was roaring. There was no silver, not here, just dark wood and soft furs and the smell of him, ozone and sandalwood. It should have scared her. Instead, it felt safe. He laid her on a soft couch near the fire. The warmth hurt. As the silver poison left her, the other thing came back. The ache, the power ache. Her wolf was waking up. And it was screaming. It was so hungry, so angry. Her body moved on instinct. She curled into a ball. She groaned. What? Kyle's voice was sharp, afraid. What is it? He thought she was dying. She shook her head. It's me, she panted. The words were hard to find. It's my power, it hurts. His eyes went wide. Hurts? I hold it down, she whispered. Tears leaked from her eyes. I always hold it down. Or they will see Kyle understood. He was looking at a true alpha who had spent her entire life pretending to be an omega. The pain of that must be terrible, and he had made it worse. Before either could speak, a soft knock came on the door. Kyle growled, low, protectively. Enter, he snapped. An old woman came in. Her hair was silver, but her eyes were sharp. A healer. She held a bowl of steaming broth. Morag. Kyle sighed. His voice softened. My king. She bowed. Her eyes flicked to Kelina, and they widened. This is the one? She is Kelina, Kyle said. His voice was hard. A warning. She is under my protection. She is sick from the silver. Morag looked closer. She sniffed the air. She gasped. Gods, she whispered. She is an alpha. The silver must be agony. Help her, Kyle commanded. Morag nodded. She knelt by Kelina. Child, you must drink. Kelina tried to sit up. She was too weak. Kyle moved. Fast. He sat on the couch behind her. He lifted her. He propped her up against his own chest. His body was so hard, so warm. She fit. She fit against him. Her world tilted. Morag held the spoon. Kelina drank. The broth was hot. It burned a good path down to her stomach. After a few sips, the shaking eased. Good. Morag smiled. She looked at Kyle. She needs food and rest. She needs to let her wolf heal. Morag left. They were alone again. The silence was different now. It wasn't angry. It was awkward, heavy. Kalina's voice was stronger, just a little. The scent, she whispered. She had to now. Kyle tensed. His arms were still around her. What about it? You said my scent was on your sister's clothes. Why? This was her commitment. She was not hiding anymore. Kyle let out a breath. It rustled her hair. I don't know, he admitted. The rogue alpha, his name is Malik. He was my father's beta. He was exiled. He wants my throne. And the scent he leaves behind after his attacks. He looked down at her. It smells exactly like you. Before she could speak, the main doors of the chamber slammed open. Not a knock. An explosion. My king! A guard yelled. He was terrified. He was holding something. An arrow. A long black arrow. A single black feather. Kyle gently pushed Kelina off him. He stood. He was the king again. What is this? On the main gate. My lord. The guard panted. There was a note. He held out a small piece of rolled parchment. Kyle ripped it from his hand. He unrolled it. As the silence stretched, Kyle's face went white. His fangs slid down. A low, deep growl rose in his chest. Kelina felt it clear as day. His rage. What? She whispered. What does it say? Kyle didn't look at her. He looked at the fire. His hand crushed the note. His voice was dead. He knows you are here. Her heart stopped. He says Kyle breathed. You have my other half. You took him choking on the word. The female. Kyle's eyes finally met hers. They were burning gold. Give her to me, or I will burn your city down to get her. The tension broke. He wasn't hunting her anymore. He had to protect her. Because Malik didn't just have her scent. Malik wanted her. Chapter 11. As the echo faded, the world shrank. It shrank to the three of them, Kelina, Kyle, and the note. Kyle's rage was a physical thing. The air thickened and crackled with his power. He dares. Kyle growls. It wasn't a word. It was a sentence of death. He looked at Kelina, and his face changed. The rage was still there. But it wasn't for her. It was for her. He won't touch you, Kyle vowed. His voice was absolute. I will burn him from this world. But Kelina shook her head. Her thoughts spun. You don't understand, she whispered. Her voice trembled. He called me his other half. Her eyes locked on his. Tears, hot fast, welled up. What if I am? She cried. What if I'm like him? What if that's why we smell the same? What if I'm the monster too? Her worst fear, her misbelief, it was back. Her power wasn't just a curse, it was his curse. No, Kyle snarled. He stepped closer. You are nothing like him. You are, before either could speak, the horns blew. Loud, long, urgent. The sound of parley, not attack. The same guard burst back into the room. He didn't even knock. My king, he yelled. His eyes were wide with terror. What? Kyle roared. His patience was gone. He's here, the guard gasped. At the gate! Malik! He walked up alone. He demands to speak with you. As the silence roared, Kyle went still. Deadly still. This was it. Stay here, he commanded Kelina. His voice was not a request. Lock this door. Do not open it for anyone. He stalked from the room, a king going to war. But Kelina couldn't just wait. She had to know. Her body moved on instinct. She ran, not to the door, to the balcony, the one in his room. It overlooked the main gate, far below. She looked down, and she saw him. Malik. He was not what she expected. He wasn't a monster. He was beautiful. His hair was black and long. He was tall and lean. He wore black leathers just like Kyle. He looked like a prince. He was standing alone in the courtyard. Kyle walked out onto the ramparts above him. You dare show your face here? Kyle's voice boomed, a true king's voice. Malik just smiled, a slow, cruel smile. He didn't look at Kyle. His eyes scanned the fortress. Up, up, up. The moment their eyes locked, he saw her. From all that way down, he found her. His smile widened. He didn't shout. He just spoke. And somehow she could hear him. There you are, my other half, he purred. His voice was like dark silk. He looked back at Kyle. Ask her, he called up. His voice was mocking. Ask her why we are the same. We are the last two true alphas, little king, and she belongs with her own kind. He laughed, a cold, empty sound. I'll be back for her, he vowed. And just like that, he turned and walked away. He vanished into the shadows. As the tension broke, Kelina collapsed. He wasn't just a monster. He was her monster. Chapter 12. When Kyle came back, the room was cold. He didn't say a word. He walked straight to the fireplace. He stared into the flames. His shoulders were tight. So tight. He's lying, Kelina whispered. From the couch. She was trying to convince herself. Kyle shook his head. Slowly. No, he said. His voice was dead. He isn't. Not about that. True alphas. I thought it was a myth. A children's story. He turned to her. His eyes were not angry. They were lost. He is like you. You are like him. That's why the scent is the same. His words were a death sentence. Her breath caught. So what does that mean? It means Kyle's voice was raw. That I can't kill him without you feeling it. And he can't be harmed without you knowing. No. It means he walked towards her, that his claim on you is real. It's not a mate bond. It's older, darker. He called you his other half. He knelt before her. His eyes were begging. Kelina, what is he to you? And she had no answer. This was her lowest point. She was the key to the monster. She was the curse. She was the reason his sister died. Her scent. She was the reason his city was threatened. Her presence. I am nothing, she sobbed. I am a plague. He reached out to touch her bong, bong, bong. Not a parley horn. The war bells, the alarm bells. To make things worse, a new guard sprinted into the room. Fire! He screamed. At the west gate! Malik's men! He lied! He distracted us! It's an attack! Kyle was on his feet in a flash. The king was back. How many? Dozens. My king, they are burning the city. Kyle looked at the guard. He looked at Kelina. His choice. His city or her. He had to choose his city. His face was agony. I must go, he said to her. His voice was torn. I know, she whispered. He ran to the door. He looked back. Lock this door, he commanded the guard. Put 2 men on it. She does not leave this room, no matter what you hear. Yes, my king. And then he was gone. The door slammed shut. The lock clicked. In the quiet that followed, Kelina Doe was alone. She wasn't a prisoner anymore. She wasn't a guest. She was a prize locked in a box while the world burned around her. She ran to the balcony. She looked out. She could see it. The smoke, the orange glow in the sky. She could hear it. The screams. The war was here. And it was all her fault. Her wolf pressed forward. It didn't want to hide. It wanted to fight. But she was locked in. This was it. The descent. All hope was lost. Chapter 13. In the quiet that followed, the lock clicked. She was alone. Trapped. As if the world narrowed, all she could hear were the screams. All she could see was the fire. The orange glow painted on the clouds. This was it. Her lowest point. It's her fault. Her scent led him here. Her power was the magnet. Her existence was the reason for this war. Her misbelief was true. Her power was a curse. She sank to the floor of the balcony, cold stone against her cheek. She was numb. The hollow feeling was back. Worse than the silver. This was despair. She heard shouting. Down below, the clash of steel, the wet tear of flesh. Kyle. He was out there, fighting for her, fighting because of her. Her chest ached, a new pain, not her wolf, her heart. She wanted him to be safe. And just like that, something inside her shifted. It wasn't despair. It was rage. Not at Kyle, not at herself. At Malik. He did this. He killed Kyle's sister. He framed her. He used her scent. How? He attacked this city. He called her his half. No. As her wolf stirred, it didn't whimper. It snarled. Deep down, she knew the truth. She wasn't a prize. She wasn't a curse. She was a weapon. And she was locked in a box. Without warning, a new sound. Not from below. From outside her door. A thud. A gasp. A wet sound. The guards. Kyle's guards. Her blood ran cold. As the silence stretched, she heard scraping. Metal on the lock. They were picking it. Malik wasn't just attacking the city. He was here for her. Now. This was the final push. Chapter 14. Her body moved on instinct. She didn't hide. She didn't cower. She stood up. She walked to the center of the room. She stood between the door and the fire. The power ache was back. But it wasn't an ache. It was a fire. Her own fire. She stopped holding it down. She let it rise. It felt good. The click of the lock was deafening. The door flew open. Not Kyle. 2 men, dressed in black. Their eyes were not human. They were wolves. Their scent was wrong. Ash and hate. Rogue wolves. Malik's men. They saw her. They grinned. Their fangs were out. There she is, one hissed. The prize. Malik wants her alive, if possible. She's just a girl. The other laughed. He stepped into the room. Kelina didn't move. Her voice trembled, but not with fear. With power. "I'm not—" She looked up. Her eyes. She let her wolf look through her eyes. A prize. A growl rose in her throat. Not the scared one from the kitchen. Not the pain one from the tower. This one was Alpha. It was her true Alpha voice. It shook the room. The two rogues stopped. Their smiles vanished. They stumbled. Their wolves wanted to bow. They hated it. "She's like him," one gasped. As fire bloomed beneath her skin, Kelina roared. She moved. She wasn't a trained fighter. She was a force. She was instinct. The first one lunged. She met him. She didn't know how. She grabbed his arm and twisted it. The sound of bones snapping was loud. He screamed. The second one came at her, with a knife. She didn't even blink. Her power slammed into him, a wave of pure authority. He froze. He dropped the knife. His eyes were wide with terror. She was done hiding. She hit him. Once. In the throat. He collapsed. In the quiet that followed, Kelina stood panting. Alive. Her hands were shaking, but not with weakness, with adrenaline. She looked down at the two men. She wasn't a curse. She was a queen. She knew her plan. Her final plan. Malik wanted her. He thought she was his half. She was going to find him. She was going to show him what a true alpha looked like. She was going to end this. Without another word, she ran. Out of the chamber, past the dead guards, Kyle's men, Malik's men. The fortress was on fire. The battle was everywhere. She didn't know where to go. She ran to her balcony, the one she was locked on. She jumped onto the railing. The wind whipped at her. The city screamed below. She saw it. The main battle. In the courtyard. Kyle. She felt him. Down there. He was losing. She didn't hesitate. She jumped. She fell from the king's tower down onto the roof of the great hall. She hit it hard, rolled, and stood up. She was running towards the climax. She was done running away. Chapter 15. She hit the roof, hard. The tiles cracked under her feet. She didn't care. As if the world narrowed, she could see him. Kyle. Down below, in the courtyard. He was surrounded. His silver-armored guards were fighting back to back. But there were too many rogues. And in the center of it all, him, Malik. He was fighting Kyle, and Kyle was losing. Malik was fast. He was a blur. He fought like a dancer, a deadly dancer. Kyle was power. He was a bear. But Malik was a snake. Malik slashed. Kyle roared in pain. He stumbled. Kelina screamed, "No!" Her voice was lost in the battle. She ran, across the roof. She had to get down. The edge, it was too high. A 3-story drop, to stone. She didn't hesitate. She jumped. She hit the ground like a comet. Her legs screamed in protest, but her alpha power took the hit. She landed in a crouch, in the middle of the courtyard. As the silence roared, the battle stopped. Just for a second. Every rogue, every guard. They froze. Kyle, on one knee, bleeding, looked up. His eyes were wide. Kelina? Malik, who was standing over him with a silver blade at his throat, turned. His smile. It was a victory. "You see?" He purred to Kyle. "She comes to me. My other half." He looked at Kelina. "Come, my love. He is finished. Join me." Kelina stood up. Slowly. She was done hiding. She was done running. Her voice was low, cold, clear. "I am not your half." "Oh, but you are," Malik laughed. "You smell like me. You feel like me. We are the same." "Why?" Kelina asked. Her voice cut through the smoke. "Why does my scent match yours?" Kyle was watching her, confused, waiting. Because Malik sighed like it was obvious. "It was your mother's." Her world stopped. "Your mother," Malik said in a dreamy voice, "was a true alpha. Like us. She was my first choice. But she ran. She hid. She had you. A weak little secret. I found her. Of course." Her voice trembled. "Oh, yes," he smiled. "And when she died, I kept a souvenir." He reached inside his armor. He pulled out a small leather pouch. He opened it. A lock of hair. Kalina's hair. not her mother's. I used it, Malik hissed, to scent the place where I killed his sister, to make him hunt the wrong person, to make him find you for me. The truth. It was awful. It was freeing. Kyle's eyes closed. In agony. He understood. You, Kelina whispered. Her wolf pressed forward. Killed my mother. And now I have you, he smiled. He raised the silver knife over Kyle. Watch him die. Before the words left his lips, Kelina roared. It wasn't a scream. It was a command. A wave of pure alpha power. It slammed into Malik. He stumbled back, shocked. Kyle moved. He roared too. His own alpha voice. The two sounds hit Malik together. He cried out. It hurt him. Kakalina lunged. She didn't have a weapon. She was the weapon. She hit him, hard. She was all claws and fangs and fury. She was a mother's vengeance. He tried to fight back, but she was a true alpha. And he was a murderer. Kyle was at her side. They fought together, a blur of fury and gold eyes. It was fast, brutal. And it was Kelina who ended it. She had him, on the ground. Her claws were at his throat, just like he had done to Kyle. His eyes were wide, afraid. He saw death. She panted, I am not like you. And she ended it. As the silence roared, the battle stopped. Malik was dead. Chapter 16. In the quiet that followed, there was only the sound of fire and groans. Kelina stood up. She was covered in blood. His blood. Her blood. She was shaking. All around her, the rogue wolves stopped. They looked at Malik. Dead. They looked at her, panting. And one by one, they dropped their weapons. One by one, they knelt. They weren't bowing to Kyle. They were bowing to her. Her world tilted. Then she saw him. Kyle. He was walking towards her. He was limping. His arm was bleeding. He didn't care. His eyes were locked on hers. The moment their eyes locked, the whole world vanished. He stopped. Right in front of her. He looked at the kneeling rogues. He looked at her. He wasn't afraid. He wasn't angry. His golden eyes were filled with awe. Kelina, he whispered. Just her name. Like a prayer. He reached out. His hand was shaking. He gently touched her cheek. His thumb wiped away a streak of blood. His voice was raw. You are not a curse. Her voice broke. No, I'm not. And just like that, the strength was gone. The adrenaline fled. Her legs buckled. She fell. He caught her. He caught her just like before. He lifted her into his arms. She buried her face in his chest. She breathed in his scent, ozone and sandalwood. Safe. He looked at his guards. His voice was a king's roar. The battle is over. Take the prisoners. Heal the wounded. My city endures. He looked down at her. His voice was a whisper. And so do we. Come morning. The sky was not orange. It was a soft pink. Kelina stood on the balcony. The king's balcony. Her balcony. She was clean. She wore soft furs. Her body ached. But it was a good ache. The power ache was gone. Her wolf was calm. It was purring. She heard him. The soft step of bare feet on stone. Kyle. He came up behind her. He didn't speak. He just wrapped his arms around her. He pulled her back against his chest. His chin rested on her head. They fit. They just fit. They watched the sun rise over their broken city. It's rebuilding, he murmured. His voice was a warm rumble in her ear. I know, she whispered. A beat later. They call you the Shadow Alpha, he said, a hint of a smile in his voice. The rogues have pledged their loyalty. To you. They are our people now, she said, simply. He smiled. He turned her in his arms. He looked down at her. His golden eyes weren't cold. They weren't angry. They weren't lost. They were burning, with a fire that was just for her. And what do I call you? He asked. His voice was low, teasing. She smiled, her first real smile. My king? His smile faded. His eyes got darker, deeper. No, he growled. As the wind shifted, He kissed her. It wasn't a king. It wasn't a prisoner. It was the beginning. It was fire and ash and home. It was everything. When he pulled back, his forehead rested against hers. He was panting, just a little. His voice was a low growl, a happy growl, a possessive growl. Mine. And for the first time in her life, she was. Epilogue 1 year later. The wind was cold, but the stones of the rampart were warm. Kelina stood on that balcony, her balcony, the king's balcony. She wasn't a prisoner, she wasn't a servant. She was a queen. Below, the city was alive. The scars from Malik's fire were healing. New buildings stood tall. The west gate was open. And the people in the streets were not just Kyle's pack. They were hers, too. The rogues who knelt had stayed. They were her shadow guard, loyal, fierce, respected. Her wolf was quiet. It wasn't a river stuck in a straw. It was the ocean. Calm, deep, and ready. She heard him. Before he even stepped outside. Her body didn't tense. It didn't flinch. It smiled. Kyle came up behind her. He didn't touch her. Not yet. He just stood there, breathing her in. "The trade caravan is in," he murmured. His voice was a low rumble, the sound of home. "I saw," she whispered. "Jax is handling it." Jax, the rogue who had once bowed, was now her beta. "Good," Kyle said. As the silence stretched, he finally moved, his arms wrapped around her waist, his chest pressed against her back. Solid, warm, real. His chin rested on her shoulder. "You're cold," he growled. Softly. "No, I'm not," she laughed. A real laugh. It still sounded new. He kissed the spot on her neck where a mark would one day be. "Soon. I hate that tower," he whispered. His voice was tight. His guilt was still there, a scar on his soul. She turned, in his arms. She faced him. She put her hands on his hard chest. She looked up into those golden eyes. They weren't cold. They weren't furious. They were just hers. "It wasn't a tower," she said, softly. "It was a cage. And you let me out." Kelina, his voice broke. Just her name. "Kyle," she answered. She rose up on her toes. She kissed him. It wasn't a battle. It wasn't desperate. It was slow. It sure was. It was a promise that was already kept. When she pulled back, his eyes were closed. "I love you," he breathed. Like it was the first time. Like it was every time. "I know," she smiled. She leaned her head against his chest. She heard it. His heart, strong, steady, the Alpha King, and the Shadow Alpha. The ache was gone. The pain was gone. She wasn't hiding. She wasn't running. She was home. If you enjoyed this story, please subscribe to the channel for more werewolf romance tales, Alpha Kings, rejected mates, and powerful Omega stories. Hit the notification bell so you never miss an upload. Leave a comment below telling me what you thought on our story and what kind of werewolf stories you'd like.